Night of the Living Geek.
This is Chie Satanaka, and you're listening to the Giant Sword Podcast. You better eat more meat.
Welcome to this week's Giant Sword Podcast. I'm your party leader, Nick Lynn. To my side are my noble and hairy are Taylor Hoyt.
Hello.
And Connor White.
Oh,
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Doing well. It's a weird weather day. It's like muggy and rainy outside, but like hot. It's really weird.
yeah, it's kind of the hot part is kind of unpleasant because otherwise it would be crucial JRPG weather.
Oh yeah,
But
most definitely.
What are you gonna do though?
Exactly. We missed last week. I'm sorry, but we're back now with a vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys gaming?
I'm ready to talk. I've actually been playing some dang video games this week, like hardcore, staying up till like 1 a.m. So I'm excited to talk about some games.
Oh man, harkening back to the days of yore when that was an everyday occurrence.
Exactly. Yeah, when we were able to do that.
Sometimes you get little windows where you can pull that off again. So it's
Yeah.
good to hear.
I finished a JRPG, and then after that, I just started watching lots of Dragon Ball Super, and that took over my life.
Oh man.
And
Well, I'm totally blaming you there. I totally wouldn't do the exact same thing.
That's what happened. But there was some JRPG news that is good for us. Tales of Berseria got a release date, and it's way earlier than I thought. January 24th.
Yeah, that I for sure. When they were like, "Yeah, it's early 2017," I'm like, "Oh, March. That'll be perfect." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's right there, January."
They usually do it in March, and I was like, "Whoa, this is actually pretty cool." And now I have 3 major JRPGs in the span of like 4 months. That's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy time for our consoles and our brains and our hearts and the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. There will be not a lack of things to talk about for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, because like what's funny, that day is packed. Like it's just getting increasingly full. It's like Tales of Berseria, Yakuza, Resident Evil 7. It comes out on that same day, and now we got Tales of Berseria. So it's just like, get your wallets ready, folks. Save your Christmas money because there are games a coming.
Just pre-order one like every month or something, leading up.
Seriously,
Yeah, I got so lucky. I just looked at my Twitter on my app. On my phone when I was working, and I just spur of the moment, just look for like a second, and I see Tales of Berseria release date is now January 24th. I'm like, oh sweet.
Your timeline knows how to make you happy.
Yeah, I looked at it and I'm like, oh sweet, I'm gonna go on Amazon, and I saw it was collector's edition. All right, instantly pre-order, put it away. I didn't even know what was in it. I saw it was a collector's edition and pre-ordered it.
Grabbing that bad boy.
And then like on my
true fan, by the way,
exactly.
Only a true fan would do that. Is what I mean.
And I on my break, I looked at my phone again, just like, okay, let's see what's in this collector's edition. I see it's already sold out just within like an hour. And I'm like, I got so lucky.
Yeah, well, you didn't even know that you were jumping on a hot item.
Well, this was the first time they've limited or at least explicitly said as much. Like, yeah, we're only making 10,000. That's it.
Yeah, it was pretty. Each one is individually numbered.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if it usually sells out like that, but I didn't.
It doesn't.
I didn't know if it was the first time it was limited or not.
I'm wondering if it's sold out on GameStop, because when I used to work there, I used to always get the collector's edition really easily, and they would always be pre-orderable up until like the very end. So it's interesting to me. But yeah, I'm super excited. I don't know anything about Berseria, so I was like, okay.
You gonna keep it that way, anti-hype man?
I was. This made me want to watch the Tales of Zestiria anime, because it's being dubbed in English now. So I watched that, and that has some Tales of Berseria episodes in it. It's like doing like a backstory or something like that. And I was like, this game has a really different vibe to it. It's super dark.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm like,
maybe that'll reel me in.
Yeah, it's like a very dark game, and a very dark atmosphere and story, and it's the same world as Zestiria. So, but way in the past. So you guys need to know what happens in that game.
Okay.
Well,
you don't have to play. Just you don't have to play.
Look up the ending on YouTube.
Look up, read up on the story, and then
I'll get the plot synopsis and we'll call it a day.
But the anime is so good. I gotta just say that.
So you are watching some things to kind of hype you up before it comes out.
Yeah. Well, Zestiria anime.
It's more
really good.
prequel material. That's not
right.
stuff straight from the game or anything like that.
I don't know. I haven't watched any. I haven't looked up anything from the game because it's already out in Japan. So
We'll find out.
we'll find out. Yeah, I mean, I like Zestiria, so I'm pretty sure since Berseria is apparently better, I'll like this one too. So
Well, if they're listening to the critics, and they fix a couple little foibles that Zestiria had.
oh, they did. They got rid of that big open world thing that they did.
And they also got rid of the seamless transitions to battles. They do the whole swirly into a battle arena now.
Classic.
Again. Yeah. Which, I mean, if it's better for the gameplay, I mean, why not? Because, like, we've mentioned many times, like, sometimes the camera would end up in a weird spot or something like that. So I think if it is better for the gameplay overall, like, I'm all for it.
I think for, like, changing screens into, like, a battle arena like that, like, these days it has to be fast. Like, when you're playing a more arcade game, you know, sometimes you're like, okay, like, it's like a loading screen, but, like, these days it should be streamlined enough where it's just a quick graphic that transitions you from, like, the world map that you're on into the battle arena. Just be, like, really quickly. It shouldn't take too long. If it takes too long, then, like, grinding just becomes a chore and etc.
I'm gonna bring up Tales of Destiny remake. When there's a battle, it's really like a little like a fade out, and it goes into the battle instantly. It's really cool.
Oh,
super
nice.
fast.
That's what I'm about. That sounds like exactly what I would want.
It's the way it's got to be.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited. Actually, I'm excited for Final Fantasy 15 for once.
Really?
So, yeah.
Any particular reason, or just that it's so close now?
It's not because it's so close. Because I heard Ben Moore, who's been on this podcast a couple times, hopefully be on it again.
The venerable Ben Moore.
Yep. He talked about playing a more TGS, a more updated version past the gold version. And he says it runs a lot better, and like everything like looks and feels and just plays a lot better. And he's super excited.
Nice.
And the way you just described it, was just like made you. It's like, ooh,
So
I'm actually.
all
super
it took was
excited.
the blessing of Ben to get you back on board. For,
I think the words, the way he talks, man. You just the way he describes things just makes you hype.
Man Crush Monday, Nick.
Yes. Well, I remember when he was on, he was talking about how much he didn't like the E3 build. He's like, yeah, it just ran poorly. So for him to turn around and say, oh, this runs better, I think, holds some weight, since we obviously haven't played the before or after. So.
Well, you played Duske.
Yeah, but that's a whole different thing.
I mean,
that didn't run well at all.
Well, you liked playing it, right?
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah, see? So you would have played it if it ran like that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Final Fantasy apologist, so.
Yeah, me and Taylor, we'll find a way to, like, gut it out through whatever is probably wrong with that game, unless it's really, really, really egregious, but somehow it seems like that won't be the case this time.
Yeah, all signs are pointing to it being pretty good, so.
Looking
and also,
forward to
my
it.
expectations are higher than ever, so I feel like it's the perfect opportunity for my hopes to be completely dashed in classic, like, Shakespearean fashion. So, bring it on. Fate, whatever you got.
Yeah. It just becomes awful. It's like 10 hours long. We just don't even know yet.
This is kind of a random thought, but that reminded me of it. Like with the FF7 remake, there was a period where I was kind of feeling like all this, like, kind of anxiety about it. I'm like, oh man, what if it's this? What if it's that? And like, what if that doesn't jive with me? Because like I feel like I'm pretty open-minded about it, but I'm kind of like, just wondering. I'm like, oh, what if something gets really messed up and it's like unrecognizable or whatever? And then I realized I'm like, oh wait, there's still just FF7, the original one. I could just play that.
Yeah, right.
I don't need the remake to be amazing because the original isn't going anywhere. And I kind of just like thought about that, and it was like kind of a revelation in my own head. I was like, yeah, whatever. If it's cool, great. If it sucks, then whatever.
You still got the original,
exactly.
yeah.
Nothing's changed. So, just a random thought.
Very random thought.
Thanks, Nick. Very unnecessary addition to the conversation there.
I was actually trying to
Thanks
transition.
for your terrible sidetrack, Connor.
I was trying to segue into something, and I just said that.
Whatever.
It came out wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Love
Y'all
you.
are the worst.
Aw. But Taylor, you've been playing a game that you've been looking forward to lately.
Yes.
Let's go talk about that.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of that Dragon Quest Builders. For anybody that doesn't know what it is, it's basically
Like me.
Like, it's basically Minecraft, but it's a more guided experience. Like, there's quests. It tells you straight up what the recipes are to make things.
So they're just like takes out the guesswork.
Yeah, because one of the problems in Minecraft is like you have to sit there with a guide open. Like, how do you make an axe? Oh, okay, you put it in this formation and you do that. So with this, it's just like get 2 stone and 1 branch, and there you go, or whatever it is. I don't know the recipes off the top of my head, but it's fun.
Get 2 stone, got it.
Exactly.
You left it right there.
Yeah, left it. It was a hanging fastball. Anyway, but yeah, no, it was. It's cool because like you start off in this town, it's nothing, and basically like the walls are made of dirt, and you're just like building very rudimentary houses with like bonfires for light sources and stuff like that. And then as you go further along, like you recruit, like there's just these people wandering the land, and if you do a quest to go out and find them and like kind of, heal them up and give them a place to sleep, then they're like, oh, I'm a blacksmith, so I can teach you how to make better weapons and better armor and stuff like that. And so you're progressively, making your town more fortified. You're getting better gear and stuff like that.
And you're just like the lord of your little estate.
More or less, yeah. Like the first, there's like, it's broken up into chapters, and so the first chapter, I think at most it has like 7 people or 8 people in your village, and they all have various tasks. But what's cool, so for example, if I build a kitchen and I build a chest next to it, the villagers will just cook stuff for me. I don't have to go and do it myself. Nice. So like if you just go out and go adventuring and then sleep, when you wake up, your chest will be filled with like, I don't know, whatever.
Oh, so it's like the ultimate, like, this is like, sounds like such an insult, but I don't mean it that way. Like ultimate, like Farmville style, like collection and like building, almost kind of like Garrison, like.
Yeah, yeah,
a la
for sure.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, and there's even like a really rudimentary farming system. Like you just plant stuff, and then in the morning they're grown. You don't have to sit there and water them or anything like that. But it's cool because there's some fruit or whatever, some food that are harder to get than others. So the fact that you can just plant it and get like double or whatever, triple the amount in the next morning is really nice. But then at some point, like once you get to the end of the chapter, you're just like so overpowered. You have like 20 healing herbs and like 15 like sauteed salmon or whatever it is that you're doing.
Is that like the Uber healing item or something?
Yeah, so you have much like Minecraft, you also have hunger. So if you go hungry, then you start losing life slowly. But it's really easy to not go hungry.
So you've mentioned it like easy a couple times. Is like the learning curve of this game pretty like mild?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a super challenging game by any means, but I think the appeal is how am I going to rebuild my town? Because there's no like you have to do it this way. They give you blueprints, so like, oh, here's one way to do it, but then you can totally tear it apart and put it back together your own way.
I love that. That's awesome.
Start Cloud 3, Dragon Quest.
Did you get pretty out there where you kind of just like stick into like a basic town format? Because I imagine after a while you start wanting to like get more creative and like make some wacky stuff as you get more and more options.
Yeah, so the only thing I beat the first 2 chapters and I just started chapter 3. In the first 2 chapters that you have a limited area that you can build in, or else like you're essentially building in like monster territory where they'll just like spawn in your base.
Gotcha.
So the first 2 towns you can't get terribly creative, although what's really neat too is if you go off exploring, you can find like ruins of old castles and stuff like that, and you can find like furniture and like just decorations that you can't build in that chapter. So what I'll do is
back to your base.
Yeah,
nice.
And so like literally, it's funny. Like at one point in chapter 2, I had this base and people were living like on straw beds and dirt building, like just dirt. And I had like a couch and a sink in my like personal bedroom. Because what you can do is you can put signs in rooms and they're like private bedrooms, so only like certain characters can go in there. So I made like a private bedroom for my character so nobody else could go in there.
Keep all the nice stuff for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, what's
like
in
pre-French Revolution?
Pretty much. Well, what can be annoying is if you don't build enough beds, like it's nighttime and you just want to sleep and literally everybody else takes the beds. I'm like, okay, do I make a bed like and just sleep in like a hallway, or do I just battle through the night or something? And like at night there's harder, quote unquote harder monsters. They're really not that much harder, they're just more annoying. That come out and fight you and stuff like that.
Wouldn't that mean they're harder?
I guess they don't. I mean, they don't do more damage, but they can teleport.
From what I can tell, what you're saying, neither of them are difficult. They just take longer to kill.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the basic loop is this. So like you get these people that come to your village, they give you quests, you do them, and you build up your town. And then every so often, there's like a battle phase where like you initiate it and like a wave of monsters comes and they're trying to destroy your town, and certain town members can attack with you and fight with you. So you
I assume a bunch of them, that's their job, is they're like fighters or warriors.
Yeah, there's guys that have like helmets and gear on and stuff like that, and then others just like cower in the corner and just like don't do anything.
Thanks for the help, bud.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, and so you can build up like rudimentary defenses, just like little blocks of wall, so it's harder for them to get through. Yeah, in chapter 1 you can build some like a really devious little trap. Like basically you turn one of your walls, you can open the door, but then as soon as you open the door it's just a bunch of spikes. It's like these 2 gargoyles that breathe fire. So like if they try to get any, and they come from the same direction every time, so you can easily prepare for their oncoming assault or whatever.
Just torch them all right when they get in.
Pretty much, yeah. They just walk and you build it in front of like a brick wall that they can't like attack through, so they're just sitting there like catching themselves on fire and dying, which is pretty great.
That sounds satisfying.
Yeah.
I guess if you're a sadist like me.
Yeah. No, it's cool though. And then at the very end of the chapter, there's like sort of a boss monster that is, you have to get a little creative with how you're going to fight it. Like for example, the chapter 1 is like this giant golem, and you build like these barricades that you can throw down, and so like he'll charge up and like shoot a fireball, and you have to put the barricade down so it doesn't like hit your town. It'll just stop the fireball. So you have to like, you're constantly like putting it down, picking it back up, and then every once in a while you can get some hits in.
That sounds pretty awesome. I mean, I'm kind of ignorant of Minecraft as a whole. It's kind of like, I don't know, a mystery to me, but does Minecraft have like a guided story like that, like
No.
Dragon Quest Builders? Because it seems really interesting that like I've never thought about like a sandbox game having like an advanceable story like plot line like that. It seems like it'd be really cool. I'm like suddenly really intrigued.
I think that for me, that's the draw of it, because it's obviously it's like you can get creative. Like after chapter 1, you can basically have a Minecraft mode, like a free build mode, and just do what you want. But I like the story mode because it gives you a direction. Like, hey, you know, I need an infirmary because we have these sick patients and stuff like that. And then, like I said, there's enough wiggle room where you can just have fun creating like dumb rooms or whatever.
Right. I just love the idea of like having sandbox level like freedom, but to accomplish like set goals, like kind of how you're describing, where they give you the tools like, hey, yeah, you can do it this way, but if you want to just do whatever the hell you want, if it works, then great, you know. So like that's huge to me, so I might have to pick it up.
Yeah, and it's all in that really nice art style of Dragon Quest, or you know, the Toriyama Dragon Ball art style. So if you're into that, it's cool. The character models are a little chibi, they're a little squished, but it still looks nice to me.
It kind of seems like it would be par for the course for like this kind of game. So
yeah. So yeah, I'm having a total blast with it. I haven't gotten this hooked in. I mean, you guys know me. I usually start a game and put it down after a few hours, but I'm like super hooked. I've probably played about anywhere between 10 to 15 hours, probably.
Nice.
Nice.
So yeah.
Wait, how long have you got it?
It came out Tuesday, so I got it Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so about 5-6 days.
Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
Would you recommend this to for avid JRPGers?
Yeah, I you know, it's not a traditional JRPG per se, but I think if you like JRPGs, it has enough appeal because it has that obviously Japanese styling of Dragon Quest. There's fun combat, there's RPG elements like building your own gear, and after you complete quests, you get these items called Seeds of Life that increase your HP. So you're not fighting monsters to like get experience; it's more to get items. But there's a great feeling of progression. Like you're always building towards something, like literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, I kind of need that a lot of times in games that are kind of are building based like that. Like Roller Coaster Tycoon is what I keep thinking of when you're describing a bunch of stuff like this, because I'm a huge Roller Coaster Tycoon junkie. The classic, or I mean, the original in particular.
Oh man, so many good times with that.
Yeah, you were talking about just like having a small space to work with and then expanding it, and just like that feeling like you could finally create the most monstrous coasters of. Anyways, but yeah, it kind of sounds like it's like a JRPG just kind of fused with another genre. So it's like it's still spiritually a JRPG, but it's kind of like 50-50. So.
Yeah, for sure. Simple quests, going out, fighting, gathering, building. There's just a great loop. Like the pacing is perfect because you can do it however you want. And there's so many like secrets and like side quests. You just find random people out in the wilderness and like, hey, I need this item, and you're like, okay, well, I'll go back to town and build it and give it to you, and they give you like extra items or whatever, or recipes that you wouldn't get otherwise. So
there's nothing I love more than collecting freaking recipes. I'm not being sarcastic when I say that either. Like that was my favorite part about the old professions in WoW, is like you'd finally get your hands on like a really vaunted rare recipe, and all of a sudden like it's just the best feeling.
Well, because then it sends you down another rabbit hole, right? Of like, okay, what are the ingredients? How do I find those ingredients?
Because the rarer the recipe, the rarer the ingredients, right? So yeah. Anyways.
Oh, I got the Crusader enchantment. Yes.
Well, that one was easy to farm, but we're not going to go down that.
But
not for me.
Yeah, I would say highly recommended. It's for me, it's like the perfect game at the perfect time. It's right before Final Fantasy 15. Like just fun game. It's going to keep me hooked for a lot of hours, and yeah, it's really fun.
And once you beat that, you'll have some time to put in some work on your backlog project before Final Fantasy 15 comes out.
Depending on how fast I beat this, that is definitely my plan. I want to look at games that are either relatively short or ones that I'm in the middle of and I just need to finish. So
hell yeah. You're going to have to let me know what your primary list is going to be, like what order you're going to go in if you do it like that is.
Sure.
I'd be interested to know.
Yep. So yeah, Dragon Quest Builder is awesome.
Good. Awesome. I was finishing one of the games that I started before my Cold Steel 2 90-hour trip. So it was Grandia 3. And I remember, hopefully Taylor remembers this, I was raving about it at the beginning, saying that it's, oh man, this is really awesome. Story and characters are really nice and everything like that. Starts out great. Like, all the characters are likable, and there's a lot of story moments, and just the gameplay itself, the battle system's really fun to do.
For a bit of context, Nick, prior to this, Nick was playing Grandia Extreme, which was not good.
Grandia
apparently.
Extreme was awful.
If you have to tell us it's extreme, it's probably not extreme.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It just makes me think of, I don't know, like crappy like snack food advertisement, extreme cheese blast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Totally.
well, the thing is, like, coming from Grandia 2, which was great. It was really good. Great story and everything. And then you go to Extreme with like horrible voice acting, no story. The gameplay's awful. The battle system's the only thing that saves it. It's like, and then like the final dungeon is randomly generated, and it's not even good randomly generated. It's just put together, and you have to go like through like 50 floors.
What do they think they're Diablo? What is that?
It was
Yeah,
like
right?
Diablo, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not playing this anymore.
Not worth it.
There's only one Diablo.
But and then I went to, because I wanted to play Diablo. I wanted to play Grandia 3, but for some reason my Grandia 3 wasn't working. So I had
Just
to.
a hard disk.
It was no. If you look at the disc, it's perfect.
Uh-huh.
It looks perfect, no scratches or anything. So I bought another one on eBay, put that in, and then after I was done with Extreme, I put that in and started playing it,
And it worked.
and it worked just fine. It loaded like
That's
that.
so random.
Yeah, like this one would load and then like freeze.
What do you? I mean, not that this is the place to figure this out, but any ideas why your perfect condition copy did not work at all?
No idea. I tried it in his PS2. I tried it in my PS2.
You had varying degrees of success, but overall, it just didn't want to go.
It just didn't want to get past this one part.
That was just God getting back at you for some past misdeed or something.
I'll give you that copy and see if it works for you, and then if it doesn't work for you, just throw it away because I don't need it.
All right.
I have
You
another
just
one.
burn it.
But yeah, so I played it really good. I just loved this. I love the characters, and then it like typical Grandia, two characters leave your party permanently. They disappear from the story.
Were
Wow.
you like heartbroken?
I was like, no, I wasn't really heartbroken, but I was like, these are two interesting. Like these are like the two most interesting characters of the game, and you're getting rid of them.
So you're pissed.
I'm pissed. I'm like, okay, this sucks. I want her to stay a little longer, but yeah, this happens like right at the beginning of the game, and then they get replaced by like awful characters, like uninteresting. Not like they don't have like any like character or anything like that. It's just awful. And it's like the game hits a point right after that, and it just feels rushed. It just feels completely rushed. Like the story's not making sense. It feels like it's skipping.
Like the project was going along really great, and then someone ran in and was like, "You guys are making progress too slowly. Hurry up!" And
Exactly.
Like, oh, we
You
gotta
have
throw
1
the
month
rest
to
of it
finish
together.
it. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, we gotta we gotta find all the Guardians. Okay.
They're like, "What about that side plot we were gonna do about those two characters you're talking about?" Screw it. Just make them leave the party.
Yeah,
and never come back. Forget it.
Yeah, forget them. I haven't really like found any secrets or done any of the side quests. Maybe they're out there somewhere. I don't know, but they just disappear. I mean, even the strategy
You
guide.
do some side quests, get to the bottom of this big dungeon. They're just dead bodies are lying on the ground. You're like, oh, well.
It's funny because I was looking at the strategy guide to know.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the dark dungeon. You're like, yes, I'm finally gonna get them again. They're just dead at the bottom.
Knife in their chest.
But yeah, so I was looking at the strategy guide just to see how far I was in the game because I was kind of getting sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading the character profiles, and both of those characters, like at the end of it, there's like this character leaves way too soon, and I don't know why. Like that's what the strategy guide says.
That's funny.
And I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
sucks.
Well, it sounds like it's just like a loose end where you're like, oh, we're gonna meet back up with that guy later, and then you're like, wait, why did we like meet up with that guy?
Yeah,
but I guess that's
wa-
how like real life works.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
that-
It wasn't like that. It's like I'm gonna go on a journey with this guy for some reason because we're in love or somehow. That's what it felt like. I'm like, okay, that's random.
Grandia 1 did that a lot, though. So
No,
that's
but it was good. Like you got
It made
closure. It made
sense.
sense, and it was closure and everything like that. This didn't make sense.
Yeah, if it's just haphazard,
it
that
just
kinda,
cuts off and like it's done.
But then I started thinking like about the characters. Like the main character Yuki is a pilot, and I'm like, okay, why is he this like amazing swordsman?
Yeah,
what?
yeah. I love
I'm like,
that.
why is he have all these like magic moves and like amazing swordsman?
Well, that's like one of my favorite RPG tropes. Like the kid from the village out in the country who like picks up a sword one day, goes on an adventure, and is suddenly
He
like
just
the most
knows what's up.
badass
Yeah,
son of a bitch
exactly.
of all time.
but sometimes like most of those stories have like a reason, right? Like in Grandia 2, he was a geohound, a mercenary, so he trained under the sword, and he's from the village of like professional swordsmen.
Right.
I forgot what it's called.
That's called character development.
Yes. And Justin is just he was an adventure. He likes the adventure, and then he got like trained by people, and so over time he grew and became this amazing warrior. This guy is like, I'm a pilot and I fly planes, but some reason I am good with the sword.
Okay.
Just cause.
I'm like, just cause.
Because pilots sword fight in the air all the time.
Exactly.
That's what they did in World War II, if I remember right. They didn't have
Man,
guns.
I
They
gotta
just-
watch World War II in color again. I forgot that I missed that episode.
But yeah, it was so disappointing because the world they built seemed so interesting, and then it just fell flat and was very empty. No story. The characters didn't grow at all. The main character just decided he loves the other main
girl,
character.
yeah.
It's like, I love her. I'm like, okay, you didn't show any interest in her.
That's like always a killer for me when like there's a romance and like it's not really believable.
Yeah.
They just force it just
Yeah.
because.
They're like,
And
oh yeah, that's the thing that's
Mhm.
happening. Okay.
It's so disappointing because it's coming from Grandia, which is an amazing story, amazing characters. Grandia 2, same thing. And then now I know why Grandia 3 isn't as remembered as those. Because it starts off great and then just falls off in the deep end. And it just made me sad. And I have to beat this now. So I was just like drudging. There's one of, those games that you just play, you put it on mute, you go through it, and you're watching like a TV show while you're playing it because you don't have to pay attention to it at all. That's what this game became.
Word.
Like I literally just was watching anime while playing Grandia 3 on mute, and then whenever a story moment happened, I would unmute it, pause the anime, and then just watch it, and then when it stopped, mute it again and continue.
Yeah, that's how I play like NBA 2K. JRPGs aren't supposed to be like that.
Exactly. It became that, and that's what made me sad.
Well, bummer to hear that, dude. Especially from such a a venerated franchise as Grandia.
You definitely, guys, you got to try out Grandia and Grandia 2. Play that, and if you want, you could try Grandia 3. The beginning's awesome. Just try that out, and you can see so much potential. In
Oh, that Nick
beginning.
is doing like the Giorgio Tsoukalos from Ancient Aliens hand motions,
Yep.
always trying to convince us of this.
And just-
Grandia.
Grandia, and then it's great. It's great. Believe me, all right, it's great.
That's what we need more of on the podcast: Donald Trump impressions and physical humor, or visual humor.
But
Hang on, I'm writing that down.
So that segues into our next topic. Has any JRPG started so strongly for you that you loved it so much, but you ended up disappointed?
Or just like lost interest or something.
It just started becoming disappointed. That's disappointing.
Right off the bat, the one that immediately came to mind for me was Bravely Default. Because you want to talk
good
about
one.
like for us where it's like this amazing throwback RPG. Like it has the pre-rendered backgrounds, like the incredible soundtrack, and this battle system that feels so refreshing for like turn-based JRPGs.
So freaking unique, man.
Yeah, and you can. It reminds me of Tactics in the sense that you can mix and match class abilities to build like your ultimate party, like however you want.
The best.
But the way that game ends is just like unforgivable. It's almost they're just like, we need to pad this game out for like 5 more hours. Let's just. I'm gonna just spoil it because it's pretty out there.
Well, you don't.
All
have
right,
to,
well,
you don't.
here's your warning. So
You
skip
don't
ahead.
really have to spoil it. You just have to do the same thing over again.
Yeah, so like the whole point of the game is you're trying to revitalize these like the crystals of the earth. So you have to find all what their guardians called Vestals, so you can go and restore these crystals and restore life to the earth and whatever. It's very generic. But what happens is you do that, and then the game makes you do that literally, I think, 5 more times for just no reason.
So
You like go back in time and you do it again, and then you go back in time and you do it again. It's like you could have done that once and it would have been fine, but why did you do it 5 times? Like that's so unnecessary.
like the lead director is like, all right, man, we finished the main plot line. He's like, dude, like we still need 36 more hours of gameplay, and he's like, shit. All right, just do it. Just run it back. Run it back 5 more times.
See,
Is that like what it feels like?
kind of. It's not like
Did the story make sense?
no. I don't think it made sense story wise, and it doesn't. The game was long even without that extra padding, so I don't know why they felt the need to pad it out unnecessarily like that. But
you were totally charmed up to that point.
yeah, man, that game is so good up until that point, and I'm like, I powered through it because I just wanted to beat it. But man, is it ever a slog? It's one of those things where you're like, all right, I'm gonna put a podcast on. I'm just gonna power through this, whatever, and make it happen.
What about Bravely Second?
I haven't started that, but from what I've heard, it only does that once. But I haven't played it.
So it's still there, but only once this time.
Okay, well, do you think it's something that was so egregious that like most people who played it would probably complain
oh
about it?
yeah, everybody that's beat this game is like, dude, Bravely Default is incredible up until the very end.
Well, shouldn't that make your expectations for Bravely Second like skyrocket if you know they like almost doubtlessly fixed the one thing that was horribly wrong with it?
Yeah, and there's a post-credits teaser that has me pretty excited. So, I mean, that is one of those games that I'm like itching to play. But
okay, cool.
So hopefully, one of these days I'll get back to it. I have a few others, but I'll let you guys go. And
I've already said.
so Grandia was
yeah.
yours? Okay.
Games that started strong and then I lost interest. Well, a big one. This is back on PS2. Well, it's a series that I really like, but it's a series that also with me, it kind of has a history of like me falling off about halfway through the games after starting like really strongly. That was Tales of the Abyss. And like I can't really, I'm like digging deep in my brain right now, and I can't really formulate a great argument for like why exactly I fell off, because the story didn't like get really boring, or the combat system wasn't like incredibly repetitive. Like my guys were getting better, there was good progression in the combos and stuff, but for some reason, although one thing I did note about Tales of the Abyss is that the story is really, or the plot is really, really heavy on like made up like words, like phonons and phonic energy, and like all the phonic hymn and like all this stuff. And I think it kind of just got lost, and it kind of got so I don't know. It's like it kind of became a lot to take in. You know, it's kind of like, you know what? I got to a point where I was kind of like, I don't really know what the crap is going on right now.
If you think that's bad, now try Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, see.
There's literally like an encyclopedia in the game.
Well, Final Fantasy 13 is not a valid entry to this conversation because I didn't start like really excited about it. I got like 5 minutes into it and I was like, is this the Matrix or is this like a Final Fantasy game?
I think
Lightning is doing like triple backflips with like double Uzis, just like wasting fools before I ever get to control a battle. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah. Pretty.
I think another reason is, why do I have to do that?
Oh, you're talking about the guy in the green jacket?
Hope or whatever his name is, yeah.
No. I'm talking about Tales of the Abyss. Sorry.
Oh, Luke.
Yeah. I don't have to do that. I'm rich.
Oh yeah, the protagonist of Tales of the Abyss is like horrifically annoying, but like on purpose. He's supposed to be horrible, but like still for the first like third of the game, like you just want him to die, and like you're controlling him everywhere. You're like, I don't even want to level this guy up because I don't want him to be successful in battle, even though I have to control him.
Yeah,
but the change that happens with him, it's really good. I like.
But yeah, and I made it to the part where he kind of like has a big time reality check and things change. But it was always right after that big moment that where Luke kind of has a revelation that I don't know. I kind of fall off. And twice I've played through the game, and twice I started really strong. I was like, man, this game rules, because it's like the hack and slash combat. It's like Diablo and Final Fantasy put together, which is how the combat works. So it's like perfect for me. But always right around a third of the way, halfway through the game, I just fall off. I can't even explain it.
I'm going to tell you now, that part is nowhere near the half part.
Oh, word.
That game is so long.
Maybe how complicated and like convoluted the plot is, maybe that's it. Because that kind of makes it a little bit harder to connect yourself with what's happening, because you're kind of like, oh, we're going here now? Okay.
That's the kind of game where you need to have like no distractions to play.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really long, really confusing at sometimes, but it's like it pays off at the end.
Oh, and plus the character conversations, the optional ones where it's like your party, you can like break away from the action and it's like a little scene with your party talking. It's all just text.
I hate that.
And there's no voice acting, but it's like Brady Bunch style, where it's all tiles of each of the characters' heads, and they're talking, like you can see their mouths moving, and there's text at the bottom, but it's just dead silent. And it's like, so boring. And there's a bunch of really essential and like important like flavor content that's happening in those conversations, but they're just unbearable to watch because it's just these anime faces moving their mouths in silence. And it's just like, who okayed this?
I don't know why they didn't dub it because it's supposed to be dubbed.
Right. It's
all of
very
them.
obvious that they're supposed to be voice acting in those scenes, and it's just conspicuously absent.
Yeah, because now you've seen the newer ones; they're all voice acted,
they-
and they're even like
Budgeted.
animated now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
And that's engaging. That's awesome. Like the conversations are good, but just the format that they're given to you in that game is like, I stopped watching those scenes.
I think there's this one from. Oh God, every
But I
single
feel
time.
like Tales of the Abyss is a good game. A few people were like, "Hey, do you like Tales of the Abyss?" I'm like, "Yeah," but when I look back and think more deeply, I'm like, "Crap!" I was just kind of.
just lost interest.
Mhm.
Just.
You guys had more though. I was curious to hear more. If you can do my quick hit style too, if you want. If you have a couple.
Sure. I mean, a couple. I think we talked about this already, so I won't go into detail. But Star Ocean 5 was like that for me. I started off I was pretty hyped, and then just hit a wall. I'm like, nope, done with this.
But it was something having to do with like random difficulty spikes, right?
Yeah, there were just moments where the AI was bad, and you had to protect the character, and your other party members didn't prioritize protecting the character, and they just died really fast, and you had no chance.
It's kind of a no-brainer. It's
Yeah.
like
Another one, I think this game was just way too long, was Xenoblade Chronicles X on Wii U. Fun game. Like, you're just exploring this massive world. It's super fun. Like, it's gigantic. Like, the scale in that game is something else. It's so cool. And you're constantly, like, getting new gear and stuff like that, and you can jump around and explore, and then at some point in the game, you get these things called skells or mechs or whatever you want to call them. And you get in these giant robots, and you can fly around. You can explore, like, twice as much as you could before because your character just couldn't get up there. But then the game just drags at the end. It's like,
it becomes like a typical open world game where you have to do useless stuff constantly.
a little bit. Where I forget. There are certain. It reminds me of like I think of Tales of Exilia 2 in the sense that like you have to do arbitrary things before the next quest is unlocked, or you have to be a certain level. That's what it is. You have level requirements, and it's kind of hard to level up if I remember right. So you're doing quests and you're doing all these things and you're just fighting monsters, and it just got really annoying. I remember the end of the game was such a drag. Oh my god!
it sounds like an engaging system, but it just got to be too much.
Yeah, I don't think they balanced it very well, which is always really hard in RPGs. I think.
Well, like scaling is a really tricky thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of,
Yeah.
when scaling is kind of wonky in some games, I kind of give them a little bit of leeway, like within reason, obviously, just because it's like I know that's really tough to pull off.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, it was fun. Like, I finished it. It was like an 80, 90-hour game, which I can't believe I did, but it's
crazy.
part of, I have this
Good
thing.
on you.
Grandia 3 is only 50.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And pretty good length, though, still. But, like, I have this tradition that I've kind of started for myself that I call my Christmas RPG, and basically I'll take 2 weeks off during Christmas, and I'll just pick an RPG and just power through it. It started with Dragon's Dogma, then it was Skyrim, and then it was Dragon Age Inquisition, and then it was Xenoblade Chronicles X last year. So,
So Xenoblade was kind of the outlier because it seems you were going with like the Skyrim style games.
yeah,
It's funny because he always like he always says my list is going to be my backlog, and it's always a brand new game every single time.
Well, I
Mhm.
mean, there's so many shiny ones that are always popping out.
Exactly.
It's tough. I mean, I totally understand.
But yeah, I love that. I just literally have nothing to do. I'm just going to wake up, sit in my PJs, and get some coffee and just play all day, and
Yep.
it's great. But
Just bust your buns for a couple weeks before that. Get yourself some leeway.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the best.
Yep. So I mean, those are pretty much the only games for me. Did you guys have any others? Anyone
Nick?
to toss out?
I haven't really thought of any. That's like the only one that's really like both Grandia 3 and Grandia Extreme really disappointed me. But that's very rare for
Mhm.
the fall off like that.
I guess this is a very minor case, but kind of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, the first one. Because right when it started, I was kind of like, oh, holy crap, like this is a tactics game that I haven't played before. And it kind of like dawned on me. It's like, I must defeat it. And so I get that feverish, like devotion to it, and I just go crazy for a while. But that game, it's like once it introduces all the mechanics, it just kind of like stays the same for a while. And the story keeps progressing, but like nothing gets introduced and the combat doesn't like change a ton. And so it kind of just got samey. But I mean, that's still a great game, so I feel like I'm disparaging it by even mentioning it here.
Okay.
But yeah, just games like that are pretty much anyone you could think of that like where once all the mechanics are like introduced, and it just kind of like keeps going for a while because it's like I like to keep having new things introduced because like a lot of games do a great job of when you start to get to the end of the game, you start to unlock abilities that are so powerful that you're like, finally, I've arrived, you know. And so I don't know, there wasn't really that in FF Tactics Advance, or at least I didn't get to it. So
I see.
The game is just straight up disappointing. Tales of Symphonia. I mean, it's one of the worst games of all time. We're gonna get hate mail now. That's what just I'm trying to think if there's any really disappointing else for me. I mean, I've beaten a lot, but I've enjoyed most of them.
right, but you're pretty dedicated when it comes to sitting down and really hunkering down with the title.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't find many things disappointing. I find like even bad games not disappointing. It's weird.
One, I will say, like, one series that happens to me a lot with, like, I used to get these for a review and I would just play them and never finish them, with Disgaea games. They're just so long.
Yeah, exactly, and they're so dense.
Yeah.
Like I've talked about that before, right? When I played the first Disgaea and I got to like the item worlds, and I was like, well, now I have to upgrade every single item on every single character.
That's what
and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, that's what happens. You know what's funny, guys, is that Disgaea games are actually really short. They're
but
easy,
we just
but
go crazy on the details that we would never know.
That's what happens. The games are actually really short.
But I think that's actually kind of a loaded statement that you're making there, because they're really short, but I feel like the difficulty in the battles leaps up a lot, like in between story battles, so you have to grind a lot to be able to beat those story battles, although they may be few in number. Yeah, so I think it's like they're technically short, but you have to put in a lot of hours to be strong enough to
and then
beat
get
them.
like the really rare classes, stuff like that.
Exactly.
But the funny thing is, you don't need those rare classes. You could beat the game without them. I remember playing Disgaea 1 and then...
But are you beating... If you beat a game without getting the rare powerful classes, did you really beat that game?
No,
that's what I would
that's
say.
The thing. I just remember watching Brian play that, and all he would do is just what you do, is item world.
Dude,
like,
you can drive yourself insane just doing item world. You'd be like, I just spent 6 hours and I upgraded this guy's like sword, shield, and boots.
Yep.
Like he's like one of my 15 guys. I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm like, Brian, you just did an item world for an item called a crappy sword. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, you're upgrading your crappy sword +5 is like what he gets out of it.
Just like, well, why would you do that?
So funny.
Yeah, that was an interesting little topic right there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was horrifically boring. I don't know
okay,
about you.
I'm out. See ya.
Jeez.
You know it costs money there, buddy guy.
Yeah, my money.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so let's move on to our last topic of the day, our JRPG Beginner's Handbook.
Boom.
And this
Give
time,
it a short synopsis, Nick.
Yes.
Or would you like me to?
You do it. You're better with words.
Well, with the JRPG Beginner's Handbook, as the name might imply, each week it's system by system, I should say. So each week that we do this segment, we pick a system. This week is going to be the 3DS, and we each pick a unique title from that system that would really serve as a good introduction to someone who's trying to get into JRPGs. And if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably not you, but all these titles are also just really great games, so give them a try. But that being said, let's pick some games for the 3DS, which is a really interesting console for JRPGs. So let me throw it to
They're there, but they're
Eeny,
not
Meeny,
there.
Miny, Mo. Nick, you say it first.
Okay.
You pick.
Okay.
I'm kind of afraid that you guys are going to pick my choices on this one.
No, I won't. As I said with the DS, Rune Factory 3, 3DS, Rune Factory 4.
Okay, he's going with the predictable route.
Yes.
Okay.
So Rune Factory 4 is... if you like Rune Factory 3, you'll love Rune Factory 4. It's just a bigger, better Rune Factory 3. It's just it's just so fun. Characters are great to get to know, all of them, and you could pick to be a guy or a girl this time. So if for you females out there, be fine with that. And the combat's just the same, straight up Zelda actiony, maybe East style kind of as well.
It's kind of floaty, but it's still fun, I think. Yeah.
It's just, and this, you want to make your character better, so you just, you build your new items, and then you could. It's just like playing Minecraft and Harvest Moon,
except in a JRPG like lens.
Yes,
which is obviously superior.
I was thinking about before we started, I was starting the football with Taylor, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start Rune Factory 4 again today.
Jeez. It's a rabbit hole to fall down, man. It's a long game, or it can be.
Dude, I remember when we were living in the apartment, I would just spend days. I would wake up, open it up, and play that, and then it'd be done. Just the entire day.
Those were dark times.
Those were dark times. I'm glad I don't. I'm kind of glad I don't do that anymore, or can't do that anymore, and I'm kind of sad that I can't do that anymore because I want to have days like that where I can just play.
Be glad, sir.
Just play Japanese JRPGs all day.
Be glad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you were throwing the football with Taylor before the podcast
Yeah.
when you were waiting for me because I was horrifically late. I'm sorry.
It was in the rain. We're all crying. Where's Connor?
Like in Final Fantasy VIII, the little baby squall crying in the rain.
Exactly.
Oh,
But yeah,
so sad.
Yeah, Rune Factory 4 is great, but it's a very niche title. So if you're not liking those Harvest Moon games or anime-like style games, you wouldn't like it.
But if you do, then prepare yourself.
Yeah, it's. I really
Sounds
enjoyed
so
it.
engrossing.
Yeah, it does. It's very. The one thing I got caught up on was it divides itself between, like, at some point it's like, okay, you have to fight battles and get to this one spot, or there's like a thing in this one spot. So to me, it got a little. Maybe I wasn't leveling myself up enough. I didn't do enough fighting, but I remember the fighting being hard at certain points, and I'm like, oh, I just want to do the social stuff.
Yeah. There are hard battles, but once you hit this level, and then you just start destroying everyone.
Oh, okay.
Or you have to make like a really strong weapon, a weapon that you're good at, like you like playing as, because every weapon's a different play style. So I always pick the dual blades because it's like really quick and doing all these like crazy like roguelike moves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what I like doing. But yeah, I there are difficult battles, but you just have to level up a couple times, and then suddenly you're just godlike.
Okay. Yeah. I mean that is definitely a game I'd like to go back to, but it was really fun for sure.
Connor, we'll make you play.
Oh, he throws it to me. Okay. Nick with the assist.
No, you'll play Rune Factory.
Oh, okay.
I want to see Connor's reaction to that.
Yeah, for sure. You should let me borrow it.
All right.
Let's steal one first, and then.
Right.
Connor's got his own little backlog project to go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always do.
I'm kind of torn. I have a couple games in mind.
Don't pick the one I'm thinking of.
I don't know what you're thinking of. Is the problem?
No.
You're just gonna pick Bravely Default again. That's all he's gonna do.
I thought that's on the table, but
it is a good. It's a great beginner's JRPG. I want to say that, but if we're just going pure beginners, I know this is maybe stereotypical, but I'm going to pick Pokemon X and Y.
No, that's
Okay.
boring. I'm not allowing that. That's too basic.
No, it's a great starter RPG.
no, it's the quintessential JRPG. Although many may not think of it as such because it is so rudimentary. Although Pokemon does have a level of depth to its battle system that some do not consider.
I think it was really funny because I played Red and Blue, and then I hadn't played a Pokemon game until X and Y, and I'm
which
like,
is ridiculous to me, but whatever. Moving on.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, this is just the same game. It just looks nicer. Like the combat was so familiar, like everything was so familiar. But I loved it. It's super charming. I love the Pokemon look, like when they took the style from the anime and they turned it into the game. I love that look. All the new Pokemon I loved. I started
having moving 3D models of the Pokemon during battle as opposed to like a little 2D sprite that does not move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a cool world. It was like inspired by France, I think, because like in the main town there's like an Eiffel Tower or something that looks like it.
Yeah.
You can get rollerblades, which makes you move through the world a lot better, which is great.
We talked about the rollerblades on our when we did the top 5 vehicles, right?
Yeah,
yeah, that was such a good pick.
And there's so many little mini games that they introduce. Like there's this one where you're like, there's like a tentacool or something. And you're like shooting. It has like targets on it or something. You're trying to shoot it. There's like all these mini games that you can do to level up your Pokemon, which is really cool because you can do it outside of battles. And then there's also a functionality where, like, before, if you wanted a Pokemon to level up that you didn't have in your party, you would put them out for a second and then you'd bring them back in so you get experience. But I believe in X and Y they can get experience even if they haven't been in a battle or whatever, like, as long as they're in your party type of thing.
I think they might just give you an experience share item like early in the game or something.
That could be too.
Equip it on whoever you need, which is great also.
Yeah. Casuals.
It's casual, but it's so much fun.
If you're not playing Pokemon games because you think it's casual, then you're missing out.
No. I'm saying the red and blue guys used to have to take out the guy and bring him back in.
Exactly. By the way, greatest Pokemon installment of all time. Nick, what do you think?
I've only played Red.
You guys suck. Well, I'll have this conversation with myself. I think it's I think it's Diamond Pearl. I think I think Platinum is the fusion version of that, but I think that was the best gen in my opinion.
I've played multiple gens, but I've only beaten Red. And yeah,
X and Y are great too, though. They're definitely high up there.
Because I some people might say Ruby and Sapphire or whatever, but I tried playing it, and to go back to a previous topic, I just got to a point I'm just kind of bored. I don't know why. Maybe I wasn't in the right mindset, but I just never finished it. But I blasted through X. That was the one I bought.
Yeah, that one's so easy to binge on. Just because the world is so inviting and friendly and looks good, and just the transitioning to 3D opened up so many awesome things for the Pokemon universe.
I know. I can't believe it took this long to go 3D.
No,
almost
but,
20 years or whatever.
It's always on handhelds, so it's it's kind of just par for the course, I guess.
I'm just waiting until the Pokemon battle system becomes the Ni no Kuni battle system.
That would be incredible.
Oh my god,
that's what it should be.
That'd be so awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Well, that's how. Remember when Ni no Kuni first came out, or was coming out for PS3, and we were all like, "Holy crap! It's this is what Pokemon would be like if you were to actually try to fight with little monsters." The Ni no Kuni system nailed that. But maybe some Pokemon spin-off game, because they can't really. Diverge from their battle system that's been in every single game now.
I know, that's the problem. They're stuck. They have to be stuck in their ways, because if they change it, there'll be an uproar.
Yeah.
But
I think they could change the 4 ability slots maybe a little bit. Have a 4th flex slot where you could switch things in and out or something, instead of just having 4 static moves all the time. Some little things they could do to make it.
I get to see it now. Just. You press A to just do slash or tackle and stuff like that, and it doesn't have to be tackle. It's it's just a normal attack,
right?
And then you can just do different moves that you've learned, and it just takes PP, and you have a certain amount of PP. Power points.
PP.
Need PP for my bunghole.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Yep.
But we're never gonna get that.
Hey, never say never, unless it's never gonna happen. In which case, you can say never. But yeah, good pick. I can't hate. I beat the crap out of that game, Taylor. So good pick.
That was a good one.
So I'll pick a real JRPG this time, though, John Taylor. I'm just messing.
I totally appreciate you in the Queen Eastwood a la Gran Torino role in this podcast, though. Constantly shooting down anything that is new.
Get off my lawn with that crap.
New, infernal, newfangled contraptions.
Isn't that what I am on these podcasts? The curmudgeon?
That's great.
Pretty much.
Which I'm not really.
Right. So I'm going to go with a pretty obvious pick that I thought Taylor was going to pick. I'm going to go with Fire Emblem Awakening.
Oh, man, yeah.
Because it's a game. It's a game that I feel a little dirty picking this because I haven't actually beaten it myself, but I've gotten far enough in it and played enough Fire Emblem games to know that it's an outstanding game for someone who's just picking up a 3DS and wants to get a great JRPG. You name it with the battle system. The animations that it goes into when you start a little battle on the grid are great, and the different weapons not synergies, but the way the weapons interact, the strengths and weaknesses and stuff, and creating. I don't remember if they call them social links in that game, but when you fight together with certain party members, their links grow, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
I really wish Casey was here because he's the ultimate Fire Emblem Awakening expert. He's done the New Game Plus second run through on hardcore mode, all this stuff, and I'm not even close to that level of expertise. But I do know that it's a fabulous game, and it's universally liked. So I feel very, very safe recommending that. And that's again kind of obvious, but bears mentioning if you're going to talk about great entry level JRPGs on this.
An Awakening was the change that there was gonna be the last one, but it blew up, and so they made a new.
That's the game that got me to buy a 3DS. So that's a great recommendation.
Shazam.
Runner-ups, I would say let's play Tales of the Abyss.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about saying that, and I was I just kind of shit talk Trails of the Abyss for 10 minutes earlier in this podcast, so let's not recommend it, even though it's a great game.
You want to talk about a game that's
good game.
That's great, and it boils down JRPGs to their bare essence is Etrian Odyssey 4, Legends of the Titan, I think is what it's called, or Legends of the Titans or whatever.
You mean I don't think it boils down.
It's literally just
it's a dungeon
grinding,
crawler.
leveling up, getting new gear, doing it again. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's really the story is not what's important. To me, the hook of that game is the top screen it's a first-person dungeon crawler, and you're going through and whatever. And on the bottom screen, you get to draw the map. And it sounds simple, but it's so like maybe it's my OCD that makes me crazy or whatever. But like I love filling that map in, doing the little details. Okay, there's a rock here I can't go across. There's water here. Let me color that in. It's so much fun to like completely map out an entire floor. Go to the next floor, do it again.
So you're being like an adventurer and a cartographer at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
I got through. I didn't beat that game. I got to the last dungeon. I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I played it. It was like a 40, 50-hour game. It was really long.
I could imagine that, like, at the end of the game, the maps that you're having to draw are so insane and, like, complex that you're just like, you know what? I'm going to do something else. God damn it.
And for those that are, if you are curious to try it, there is a little bit more directed, story-driven games there. They're basically remakes. So there was one called Etrian Odyssey, The Millennial Girl or something like that, and it has more of a directed story, and it gives you characters. You don't build your own party or anything like that.
There's also another one with like a knight.
The Fafnir Knight or something like that.
Millennial Girl is the whole plot about how everything's her fault.
Exactly. It all rests on her shoulders. I think she's some special goddess girl or whatever. It's that trope. Yes. Or whatever.
So
she comes out of nowhere.
That was in our top 5 tropes, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Man. I think Nick had that one.
No, it was the super one, the magical girl who was who has amnesia, who was the reason who got your first town destroyed.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Something ridiculous like that.
So many good tropes. Well, yeah,
tropes aren't bad.
Nope. Oh no! They can be hilarious and cheesy, but very enjoyable. But when I was thinking about RPGs that are on the 3DS, I kept coming back to Etrian Odyssey, and I was like, I kind of want to pick that just because I know a decent amount about it, but I never played it, so I'm kind of glad you brought it up.
They're cool little games. Like I said, there's no real story, so if you're into JRPGs for the story, you don't want to do that. But if you like turn-based battles, leveling up, getting new gear, going back, it just that whole loop, like that's your game.
Right. And if you're someone who loves just running around and grinding for a zillion hours, then play Monster Hunter. That's all I have to say on that matter.
That too, yeah. Monster Hunter's a good pick. Nick, did you have a backup, or was Tales of the Abyss your...
I was going to say Tales of the Abyss or Bravely Default. If you want to have a basic JRPG,
yeah,
that's Bravely Default.
Yep.
It went back to that style.
Yep.
And Ian improved it. So
Word. Well, thus concludes the JRPG Beginner's Handbook, system by system, whatever the hell we're calling it for this week. For the 3DS, kaboom.
Kaboom. Guys, we got to have a moment of silence for a long-lost friend that we haven't talked about, that no one remembers.
Okay. Who is this?
It is The Last Story.
The Last Story? That's so random.
It randomly popped in my head, and I bet you no one remembers that game.
The Last Story?
It was Wii RPG.
Was that like Final Fantasy's cousin that was like hidden away in
the...
It was
you know what's funny? It was made by Sakaguchi.
Really? Haranabu, dude.
Yeah.
Shouts to Haranabu.
Yeah. It's so random. Like, really, guy? You named a series Final Fantasy and you have another one called The Last Story? Like, come on.
Yeah, he's just sitting in his office like, whatever. Just call it The Last Story.
And then his next game called Conclusive Tale. I'm really excited for that one.
It's
the finale story.
Yeah.
No, wait, there we already used story. Whatever. The last finale.
The last Odyssey.
The conclusive saga.
Getting so generic.
Part 2. The concluding saga, the sequel, Rise of the Machines.
Like, if we ever did an edition of the Beginner's Handbook for the Wii, you could probably count, like, on one hand, like, the good JRPGs on Wii.
It would just be us playing rock, paper, scissors for who gets to go first.
Yeah,
the other 2 people just don't pick a game.
It's like, all right, you pick Xenoblade Chronicles, I'll pick Last Story, and you get...
Pandora's Box.
Yeah,
it's Pandora's Tower.
Yeah, Pandora's Tower, yeah.
Wait, you played Last Story.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was actually a pretty cool game. I enjoyed it.
What killed it was it being on the Wii.
Yeah, it was super jaggy. Like, you want to talk about like bad aliasing? Holy crap! Like, that game would have served well to get like an HD remake. Like, wow.
It looked like a turd.
Like, I think if it was sharp, it would have looked fine. But because it's so jaggy, it's like, it looks so ugly. Like,
'cause it's a 480p.
Yeah, maybe they'll fix all these problems in the conclusive saga. Yeah, long-awaited sequel to the last installment of never mind.
I'm trying to think.
But really, I just made you guys think of the last story. Really,
It's funny. I go to my game shelf, and every once in a while, like I have this little section. It's like all the extra goodies I got in like collector's editions or just day one pack-ins, and it's like soundtracks and little cards. And then I'm like, what is this? The last story literally comes in this like book. It's like a hollowed out book, and you open it up, and then it's like the game, and it comes with like an art book, and it's actually pretty cool. It seems collectible. I don't think it sells very much, but literally the only Wii game I own. I don't even have a Wii, but I bought that because I wanted to play it for a video.
exactly.
But
I remember that.
yeah.
Well, all I know is this, and I know you guys can't disagree. No one will ever top this franchise as far as frivolous extra goodies coming in box sets, and that is Lunar. Like the original Lunar complete box sets were hilarious.
Yeah, it was like
We've talked about these briefly before, but like so much. Like there's like articles of clothing that certain characters wore. Like
it was like a cloth map. There were pins. There was the soundtrack.
a hardbound book.
Yeah, the hardbound, dude. Those were really nice. It
Yeah,
was like
super nice.
little tales from the developers talking about like what it was like making the game and really nice pictures and
There's
stuff.
a making of DVD.
That's
in there.
right. Yeah. Because it was one of those double cased ones, even though the games were only like one disc. At
Yeah.
least one. I think Lunar
Well,
One
we'll
was.
put it this way: the complete box set. There was like the two. The double decker jewel case that had the 3 game discs in it, and
Yeah.
then there was all this other stuff in it. So you could imagine what the complete box looked like. But I still have like 60% of those items, and I bought that complete box in like 5th grade. So
Nice.
I'm proud of myself.
You
there.
got both of them, right?
Yeah, I think one of them is complete and the other one's missing something minor.
I'm sad I lost Lucia's necklace.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what I don't have. Yeah.
I remember I wore it when I was in 5th grade because I thought it was so sick. Probably looked like a goddamn idiot. But hey, I bet no. But you know what? I was happy. I was happy.
I just what popped in my head when you said that was in our. I think.
Are we going to go into elementary school tales right now? Because
Yes,
I don't
we
know
are.
if I'm ready to sign off on this.
There's a picture of his class in Halloween costumes, and you just see Connor in a Mega Man costume looking
Nice.
hecka smug.
Yeah.
Like, I'm Mega Man.
I'm like, everybody else in this classroom is a loser.
Yeah.
compared to me. I'm Mega Man. Dude, my mom sewed me that entire Mega Man getup.
Yeah, that was awesome.
it was
like
so
a blue.
cool.
It was like a blue bodysuit with like all the, or the light blue bodysuit with like the darker blue, accoutrement.
Yeah.
I even had the helmet, dude.
You did.
Dude, we're gonna have to find those pictures. We're gonna have to post them on the LHG page.
Exactly.
Because I think in those pictures with me, Taylor, is my brother and you
As Beavis and
as
Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead with those horrific, creepy plastic
Oh,
masks.
It was so gross.
Oh my god. What a great like troika for a Halloween photo though. A bunch of kids, 2 Beavis and Buttheads and a Mega Man.
Yep,
Man, I would
love
turn
it.
those kids away at my door. You get no candy.
Yeah.
You get the razor bladed apples.
What a bunch of fiends.
Well,
Nick, how we doing on time?
that will be. We're doing good, but that will be the end of this. We'll end this tale.
All right, you're the boss.
Conclusively, right now.
Exactly.
You could say this is the end of the last story.
Final.
I think I've
Fantasy.
milked that for all it's worth.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed our little ramble at the end. Be sure to, if you're listening to on YouTube, to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us a review. It helps us out a lot. And if you want to follow us on social media, our Twitter handle is LSG Channel, at LSG Channel, and then our... Well, I can't even talk right now.
He's like, hang on, I got to commit it to memory.
Exactly. Our Facebook is Last Honest Gamers as well, and you'll follow. You'll find us updating our channel with channel news and all that stuff.
And if you want to send us, did you already say question? If you
I
want to
did
email
not. I
us?
totally forgot that.
Okay.
And if you want to send us fan questions, be sure to email us at AskGiantSword@gmail.com.
Pretty
Link
please.
in the description. All our links are in the description below, so be sure to check that out.
Boom.
Easy peasy.
Well, you really stuck the landing with the sign off there, Nick.
I had a big brain fart.
10
I'm
out of
sorry.
10.
Nah, 5 out of 10.
All right, great episode. See you guys later.
Laters.
Boogly.